About the times of the end, a body of men will be raised up who will turn their attention to the prophecies, and insist upon their literal interpretation. In the midst of much clamor and opposition, Sir Isaac Newton. On May 14 of 2018, the times of the end were opened. And on that day, the President of the United States declared Jerusalem the capital of Israel. Yet despite all the political innuendos of this gesture, a 2,000-year-old prophecy was set into motion. And this prophecy gives literalness and chronology to the end. For as John of Patmos was revealed in what is now in the Bible called Revelation, then there was given me a measuring rod like a staff, and someone said, "Get up and measure the temple of God and the altar, and those who worship in it." On May 14, 1948, Jewish Agency Chairman David Ben-Gurion declared the independence of the State of Israel, establishing the first Jewish state in over 2,000 years. And in an afternoon ceremony at the Tel Aviv Art Museum, Ben-Gurion pronounced these words: "We hereby proclaim the establishment of the Jewish state in Palestine, to be called Israel." This proclamation was founded on the premises of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 181 in 1947, also known as the Partition Resolution, which divided Great Britain's former Palestinian mandate into a divided Jewish and Arab state. Yet despite this declaration of the sovereignty of the Jewish state of Israel, the Temple of Jerusalem remained unmeasured. For under this UN resolution, the area of religious significance surrounding Jerusalem would remain under international control as administered by the authority of the United Nations. Thus Jerusalem would remain a divided and unmeasured city. Following the establishment of the State of Israel, Jerusalem was declared to be its capital city. However, because the old walls of the Holy City lay to the east of the Armistice Line, Jordan, who governed the Arab state of Jerusalem, was able to take control of all the holy places therein. Jordan formally annexed East Jerusalem in 1950, subjecting it to Jordanian law, and in 1953 declared it the second capital of Jordan. Under Jordan rule, while the Muslim holy sites were maintained and renovated, contrary to the terms of the Armistice Agreement, Jews were denied access to Jewish holy sites, many of which were destroyed or desecrated. However, on June 5, 1967, the neighboring states of Egypt and Syria went to war against Israel. Despite Israeli pleas that Jordan remain neutral during the Six-Day War, Jordan attacked the Israeli-held West Jerusalem on the war's second day. After hand-to-hand fighting between Israeli and Jordanian soldiers on the Temple Mount, the Israel Defense Forces captured East Jerusalem, along with the entire West Bank. Subsequently, on June 27, 1967, 3 weeks after the war ended, Israel reunified Jerusalem, extending its law and jurisdiction into East Jerusalem. In July 1980, Israel passed the Jerusalem Law. This law declared Jerusalem the complete and united capital of Israel. However, despite these developments, the temple remained unmeasured throughout the world. For the Jerusalem Law was condemned by all of the international community, including the United States, which did not recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. But in May of this year, the books of the prophecy were opened. For on May 14, 2018, on the 70th year anniversary of the independence of the Jewish state of Israel, the United States officially moved the location of its embassy into Jerusalem. And on that day, President Donald Trump made this declaration.
Exactly 70 years ago, the United States under President Harry Truman became the first nation to recognize the State of Israel. Today we officially opened the United States Embassy in Jerusalem. Congratulations. It's been a long time coming. Almost immediately after declaring statehood in 1948, Israel designated the city of Jerusalem as its capital. The capital the Jewish people established in ancient times. So important. Today, Jerusalem is the seat of Israel's government. It is the home of the Israeli legislature and the Israeli Supreme Court, and Israel's prime minister and president. Israel is a sovereign nation with the right, like every other sovereign nation, to determine its own capital. Yet for many years we failed to acknowledge the obvious, the plain reality that Israel's capital is Jerusalem. On December 6, 2017, at my direction, the United States finally and officially recognized Jerusalem as the true capital of Israel. Today we follow through on this recognition and open our embassy in the historic and sacred land of Jerusalem. And we're opening it many, many years ahead of schedule. As I said in December, our greatest hope is for peace. The United States remains fully committed to facilitating a lasting peace agreement, and we continue to support the status quo at Jerusalem's holy sites, including at the Temple Mount, also known as Haram al-Sharif. This city and its entire nation is a testament to the unbreakable spirit of the Jewish people. The United States will always be a great friend of Israel and a partner in the cause of freedom and peace. We wish Ambassador Friedman good luck as he takes up his office in this beautiful Jerusalem embassy, and we extend a hand in friendship to Israel, the Palestinians, and to all of their neighbors. May there be peace. May God bless this embassy. May God bless all who serve there, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.
And following this declaration, the world fell in suit to finally recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, countries including Guatemala, Paraguay, the Czech Republic, and Bulgaria. But the prophecy of John of Patmos does not end here. For as the prophecy proceeds to say, "Leave out the court which is outside the temple and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations, and they will tread underfoot the holy city for 42 months. And what happened immediately following President Trump's speech? 40,000 Palestinians flocked to Gaza's border fence along the west wall of Israel, anticipating that the day would end with violence and death. And in fulfillment of the prophecy, within the space of a few hours of President Trump declaring Jerusalem the capital of Israel, Palestinians were killed by the Israelis, including 6 children, what is considered the single most deadly day in Gaza since the end of the war in 2014. Another 2,700 Palestinians were severely injured. Yet there were no reports of any dead or injured Israelis, because as the prophecy says, they were within the temple walls. Amnesty International criticized the bloodshed as another horrific example of the Israeli military using excessive force and live ammunition in a totally deplorable way. But the most startling unfolding of this prophecy is the element of time. For as the prophecy says, they will tread underfoot the holy city for 42 months. And as we know, 42 months calculates to 3.5 years. And this is in fulfillment of all of the biblical prophecies. For the prophecies say that holy city will be under siege outside the temple walls for 3.5 years, Revelation 11. And the prophecies say that the Antichrist will rise to power for 3.5 years, Daniel 7. And the prophecies say that God's witness would testify of the judgment to come, Revelation 11. And the prophecies say that it will be another 3.5 years for the prophecy to be completed. Daniel 12, thus on May 14, 2018, the 3.5-year prophecy was set into motion. And what is to happen after 3.5 years? For those who believe, it is then that the Son of Man shall return. But for those who don't, it is merely a harbinger of the judgment to come. And at the end, time will tell the truth.